Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Now, I don't always make Saturday videos, especially during the Christmas season, but when I do, they hit hard. And we're answering, at least in part, the question of who the hell is Chase J. Jones? We've been following this mystery now for several months, and we're no closer to the answer, but the truth is getting stranger by the day. We've received a motion to quash the subpoena that has been sent to Chase J. Jones regarding the Clayton Echard v. Jane Doe court case, a case about trying to prove whether Jane Doe is pregnant or not, and if it is with Clayton's babies or somebody else's. Is it a real pregnancy? Is it a fictitious one? Is it fraudulent? Is Clayton gaslighting and lying to all of us? These are all questions we've asked multiple times. And Chase J. Jones is this little figure that could. This person in the story who has seemingly come out of nowhere starting October 12th and now wants to go away. We'll see if the court system lets that happen. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/DaveNeal. If you want to put some bread in the tip jar, a treat in my virtual stocking, go to patreon.com/DaveNeal and you can donate to our channel. We are user-funded. Your donations really do help us continue to make this content. And every morning and afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. Today's episode is a Driving with Dave episode with my friend Alex Hooper, who is a stand-up comedian featured on America's Got Talent, came down with cancer, and shares his amazing story of recovery. If you need hope in life, that's an interview you're going to need to listen to. All right, let's get into this. We received yesterday afternoon, when it was too late to make a video, I said, we'll have to wait till Saturday. We received this motion to quash, which is a motion to say, I, Chase J. Jones, don't think I should have any part of this harassment case. What do I have to do with this case? That's their sort of question, and the answer to that is, I guess, that Chase J. Jones was a part of a bigger story of potential harassment of Clayton Echard, harassment in which we have discussed publicly on our channel. And of course, Clayton has received an injunction against harassment on Jane Doe, which means a court actually proved he was being harassed. Now, on February 8th, 2024, I'll be going to court where the plaintiff, who's also Jane Doe, will be fighting her case as to why I'm harassing her. Again, someone whose name I've never said or face I've ever shown. But either way, I think it's interesting at the very least to continue to have our foot on the gas pedal while we wait for these babies to either be born or to disappear the way Chase Jones wishes they would. So I'm going to share these documents, but it's first important to go back to the beginning here and get context. I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible. On October 12th, 2023 was the first time we heard of Chase J. Jones. They wrote an email saying that former Bachelor Clayton Echard has a N-word problem. In this email, they shared a press release, which was a long article about why Clayton shouldn't be dancing to songs with the N-word. They say this is demonstrably wrong at the very bottom, and Echard deserves to the canceled. They didn't spell canceled right, or the, and you can see note demonstrably. We'll go back to that. But in the bottom of this article, they share why they believe Clayton should be canceled and kind of like what the sort of reckoning should be. I mean, it's all laid out right there. So we've established that Chase J. Jones is a person who doesn't want Clayton to exist monetarily, I guess, as an influencer. I don't know. Now, why is this a red flag? Well, this came out during the height of the Clayton Echard v. Jane Doe smear campaign, where she leaked a story to The Sun, which is looking as if evidence is pointing towards it not being true. That because multiple tests have showed little to no fetal DNA. So it's looking like she's not pregnant according to science. And because of that, you start to wonder, is there a journalism student? And why do we think it's a journalism student? Well, in the bio of this person's Medium, which is where they released this vlog, wherever the hell, blog, what, I don't know, it's a diatribe. this press release here. In the Medium bio, they say they are a journalism student at Howard, which we're assuming is Howard University, the historically black college. So I think it's an easy assumption to say that Chase J. Jones is an African-American journalism student and a man, because his other account was Bachelor Boy. So we're assuming he's identifies as a man, and that's fine. If this is a journalism student who wanted to write this article, this is fine. This is fair. Now, if it's someone pretending to be a black journalism student at Howard, then we have a bigger problem, right? Well, it's getting, and I think it's fair to ask these questions because today we're no closer to finding out who Chase Jones is, right? So we get this on October 19th. 5 days after the article comes out, Chase J. Jones joins my Patreon. Thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate it. It's going to go to a good cause, which is probably already spent by my wife's Starbucks addiction. I'm kidding. I have a Starbucks addiction. Either way, that came in at Patreon. And as soon as Chase J. Jones joined Patreon, we started to go, can we follow the money here? I emailed Patreon and said, hey, I think someone's harassing me. I think someone's following my private membership community who isn't who they claim to be. And the way I tie it all together is I need to know what their billing information is. And of course, Blair from Patreon, freaking useless Patreon, says you can file a report with cybercrime in your local authorities. If law enforcement needs any help in their investigation, my team will be happy to help if they send us a subpoena. That's what they said. Give us a subpoena and we can help you out, which is what we tried to do. We got a response from Patreon that said, after a thorough search of our records, we were unable to locate a document responsive to your request. Attached is Patreon Inc.'s certificate of no records. Thank you, Trina. So the case of Chase J. Jones continues, right? And I'm not here to make a joke out of this, but we can smile while we also do detective work. Who the hell is Chase J. Jones, right? So the subpoena from Patreon came back as that Chase J. Jones doesn't exist, which is ridiculous because I have it in my emails that on October 19th, they joined. We know they joined. People said, well, maybe they changed their name and email and they still exist in the Patreon, which might be true. We're working on getting billing records of all the Patreon members that would have joined in that window to try to see if we can match it up. I don't imagine whoever's behind Chase J. Jones, whether it's Chase J. Jones or someone else pretending to have a baby, I don't imagine you could just get your name removed from the database. I mean, this is like IRS and billing records. You just don't get to move that, right? Who the hell is Chase J. Jones? When this person signed up, what credit card did they use for that $5? And you might say, well, maybe they used a gift card. According to Patreon, you have to use a credit card. So either way, we don't know who they are. No good response from Patreon. We also had a subpoena to Google because Chase J. Jones used a Gmail account. Google has received a subpoena for information related to your Google account in a case entitled Jane Doe v. David Neal. Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles. So this was the email alert sent to Chase J. Jones. This email serves as notice to you that Google may produce information related to your Google account in response to this subpoena unless you email a file-stamped copy of a motion to quash or other type of formal objection to Google legal support by 10 a.m. Pacific time, December 19th. To make sure that we receive a copy of what you filed with the court, please attach it in reply to this email. Please also include your reply, our Google internal reference number. Google, however, cannot give you legal advice, blah, blah, blah. Regards, Google Legal Investigations. All right, seems pretty legit. We've got a absolute legal paperwork trail here that Google's actually using the subpoena. What is a quash? A lawyer may file a motion to quash if a mistake has been made on the part of a court, or if an attorney believes that some court documents, such as a subpoena, were not issued or delivered following the required procedure. For example, a party that receives improper service of process may file a motion to quash. So it looks like Chase J. Jones is going to go with a legal defense that they have nothing to do with this court case, and therefore they should not be subjected to, their privacy being revealed and all that jazz. The fact that Chase J. Jones doesn't want to play ball here and have their sort of identity revealed in a way that would make it known that they have nothing to do with this, that to me is a red flag. That the more you look, the more they want to hide. That is a red flag to me. My lawyer emailed Chase J. Jones and said this: I received a notification that you filed 2 motions to quash today. Just as note, they are fatally defective, in improper format, and lacking mandatory forms. Again, I would like to have a quick Zoom with you. And he says that again because he asked this already. I would like to have a quick Zoom with you right there. Just with you to clear this all up and to avoid further work on my part and yours. Could we set a time this week to engage in a Zoom call? And here's my response to whether or not Chase J. Jones responded to this request for a quick Zoom call. But it doesn't end there. So we continue to move on. My lawyer then emailed Chase J. Jones. My lawyer's doing more work for Chase J. Jones, helping them out. Again, my lawyer, thanks to your GoFundMe, is able to do incredible work here. If you want to donate to that GoFundMe, the money is going to the legal representation to see this through. If you enjoy this content, if it's entertaining, as sad as it is for people like me who's dealing with this during Christmas, my own wife's pregnant, trying to get her the right food cravings we're having and all this, but this is what I have to keep my gas pedal on for my own defense, right? So you can join the GoFundMe and donate $1 if you would like. Link in the comments below. So my lawyer said this to Chase J. Jones: as I predicted, the clerk has rejected your forms. If you would please contact me, perhaps we can resolve this with no further wasted effort on your part. Oh, how very kind. My offer of a quick Zoom remains standing. I'm comfortable with mutual recordings should you feel that is necessary. Thank you. Signed, my lawyer. Chase J. Jones' response was, no, I'm telling you right now, I understand if someone's innocent, why should they have to deal with all this nonsense? Chase J. Jones is a nefarious character, regardless of where they come from. And again, I know it's a tough sell for like a white guy like me to say that his initial canceling of Clayton was bogus. But look, I don't know anybody who has a problem with people dancing to songs that have explicit words like the N-word. Now, if you want to sing that song and sing the lyrics, that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation culturally. But I don't know one person of any ethnic background that has said, oh yeah, we should put our foot down and not let white people dance to songs that have the N-word. I mean, first of all, it would take a lot of support financially away from artists who have songs that might be explicit in nature. And it's just a whole rubbish take. It's a rubbish take. Clayton's not a big character. I mean, go after Ariana Grande for licking donuts for all I care. You know, go after somebody in the million I mean, guy's got 250,000 followers. Like, this is the... And by the way, if Chase Jones is an actual journalism student, how funny their first article they ever write is getting subpoenaed. You know what I mean? Boy, you really picked a good one to go after. It is still my belief that Chase J. Jones is attached in one way or another to Jane Doe. That's my belief. That's my opinion, which, as far as I know, I'm allowed to have. So, no response from Chase J. Jones. Finally, after my lawyer asking multiple times, hey, get on a quick Zoom call, Chase J. Jones goes out of their way. I mean, I don't know if this took a day. I don't know how long this took for them to get all these motions here. They went out of their way to get these documents here when they could have just gotten on a Zoom call, maybe taken their driver's license out and said, hey, I'm Chase J. Jones, or here's my real identity. I'm just some dude who works at Amazon, and I just, you know, I don't like Clayton. He banged my girlfriend back in the day, and I've had this axe to grind with him, right? None of that has come out, right? So anyway, Jane Doe plaintiff v. David Neal defendant, declaration in support of motion to quash subpoena. I, Chase J. Jones, declare as follows. I am the individual associated with the Patreon account linked to the email address, Chase J. Jones, Gmail, which is subject to a subpoena in the above entitled matter. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth in this declaration and could and would competently testify to them if called as a witness. Absolutely. And if Chase J. Jones wants to come in as a witness, we would love to hear that. Now, how are they okay with wanting to be a witness, but then say they have nothing to do with this? Well, why'd you want to be a witness if you have nothing to do with this? You tried to cancel Clayton. The whole case really comes down to my defense of justice against folks like you and Jane Doe, who I think are both working, whether together or separately, to hurt Clayton's image, right? Background of the case. This declaration supports the motion to quash the subpoena issued in the case of Jane Doe v. David Neal, demanding extensive information from my Patreon account. Extensive information, a credit card number. Not because we're going to share it and go on a shopping spree, but we just want to know where the money came from for Chase J. Jones. Namely, because we don't know if Chase J. Jones is a real person. And if you're a journalism student, usually you want your name attached to your work. That's part of your resume, your portfolio. You don't start writing articles and pseudonyms and things like that. Either way, it goes over overbroad and unreasonable requests. The subpoena requests detailed financial and account ownership information that is excessively broad and not tailored to the specific issues of this case. Such requests are unreasonable and oppressive, exceeding the scope of permissible discovery. My general thought is just wanting to know who Chase J. Jones is. That's it. I think that's very narrow in the scope. Why do we want to know who Chase Jones is? Because we said before, we believe they were trying to cancel Clayton. And if they are in fact attached to Jane Doe, then I think she's the one harassing everybody else, including me, if she's in my Patreon. So we don't know for a fact that that's who it is, but I think there's enough connective tissue for a judge to be like, let's look into this. We'll share that connective tissue in a second. Lack of relevance. The information sought by the subpoena does not have a reasonable connection to the disputed facts of the case. The demand for comprehensive account details, again, a credit card number, a billing information, is irrelevant to the subject matter of the ongoing litigation. I don't even need to know the credit card number. Just show me the name on the credit card, and we'll see if that ties back to Jane Doe, and if it doesn't, we'll probably be done with it. Privacy concerns and constitutional rights. Oh, now we're worried about constitutional rights. My right for privacy. Didn't have a problem with that when we were going out to cancel Clayton from Chase J. Jones. Didn't have a problem with that when Jane Doe was writing my name in half-truths and smear campaigns and cherry-picked content. Constitutional rights. Protection under federal laws. The information in my Patreon account is protected under the Stored Communications Act. The Stored Communications Act safeguards the privacy of electronic communications and prohibits unauthorized disclosure. Go get it. That's why there's a subpoena, because you don't just get this information without the government saying, we want to know who you are. Conclusion. The subpoena issued in this case is overbroad, irrelevant, and infringes upon constitutionally and federally protected privacy rights. Therefore, it is imperative that this motion to quash the subpoena be granted to protect my rights and uphold the legal standards governing the issues of subpoenas. I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on December 19th, 2023. Chase J. Jones. And then there's the certificate of service and all that. And then again, we have the other quashes, which are to not just Patreon, but to Gmail. This is, again, Chase J. Jones. Here they are. Lack of relevance. Essentially, a copy and paste from before, declaring under perjury again that the conclusion, the subpoena issued in this case is overbroad, irrelevant, and infringes. Okay, so same sort of deal, right? Now, here are some of your comments. Here are some of your comments online that read this. Some of you guys are lawyers, legal analysts, and just plain old internet sleuths, right? People that just enjoy watching this train wreck. Context: motion to quash subpoenas for a certain Howard University journalist, Patreon, and Gmail. Notice this is electronically filed. An LA County Supreme Court says e-filings do not require any ID verification. Could our litigant be... Oh, whenever we have a question, we like to play the X-Files music here. Could our litigant be fraudulently filing court documents as someone who does not exist? I mean, it sounds crazy. Crazy. I sound like an absolute lunatic to think that someone would go this far. But I also know if they did not quash this subpoena, and if it were true that Chase J. Jones was actually somebody who was caught up in all of these court battles, that this one connection, this $5 membership, would lead everything back to her. She'd be the target of defamation lawsuits because now she's pretending to be, she's a white woman, right? Well-to-do white woman pretending to be a black college student and pretending if this is true, right? That this and you might say, oh, Dave, this, I get emails from her. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's so unfounded. I mean, it seems like there's enough evidence to web these two together. I understand confirmation bias, and when you Google things, sometimes you'll find half-truths and all that. I totally understand that, which is why we're not saying without a shadow of a doubt, Chase J. Jones is her. But it's enough to play the music. If it's enough to play the music, it's enough to keep talking about, right? Someone said a declaration is supposed to state facts, and theirs is weak legal argument, so they are clearly clueless about legal matters. Yeah, they just said, well, First Amendment this, and federal laws this, and codes this, and codes that. The truth is, we just want to know who Chase J. Jones is. That's not invasive to want to know who someone is for a court hearing. Someone said the most telling thing here is evidence 101. Foundation. Jane, you can't just file Chase J. Jones. You can't just file court documents saying you're someone without giving the court a reason to believe you. You are so effed. Couldn't have given the court an easier basis to hold a hearing, in my opinion. Now, so if Chase J. Jones is a real person and they just want no involvement, fine, we move on. If it is Jane Doe, then we've got multiple instances of perjury, which already existed in the Arizona court with Clayton, if that's all true. If this one thing comes out, the domino effect of all of these other cases, it all just crumbles because we now can actually see financially this connection that exists here. If that's true, we don't know. We're no closer. Someone said, Dave, please see if you can get your lawyer to require identification proof of Chase in the court so this can be dismissed. Straight up insanity that she is now committing fraud. And this is their comment, that she is now committing fraud on top of perjury. Guess who won't show up when the court asks an imaginary person to testify to their online activity? ID is not required in e-filing, but they should not dismiss a subpoena based on this flimsy evidence. Now, it's important to know this. You can always say, hey, I'll do whatever you want. I'll show up in court if you need it. As we see things play out politically in the court systems, that doesn't mean when push comes to shove, people actually show up. So, of course, we had this article that was written, Unveiling the Unbearable, my battle against cyberbullying and online harassment. After this article was made by Jane Doe, pretty much accusing me of being some giant bully. Again, someone who, in her article, uses my name a dozen times. But in my reality, I've never said her name or shown her face. All you get to see is a belly button and a nice sweater there. That's it, an Old Navy commercial. That's all you get, right? No attacking her appearance, no attacking anything at all, just trying to bring a little truth to light. Like, that's all we're trying to do. So after her article, her father, and I'm going to tie this back, her father posted this on Facebook. Incredibly proud of her daughter for standing up to cyberbullies. Hope you'll take the time to read this blog she's written. I'm disgusted by the lies people can post online, hiding under the guise of free speech. She has the full support of our family and no doubt the support of our extended family of listeners who've known her since the day she was born. Okay, so that was from her father. We don't know if her father posted that or if she posted that on behalf of her father. And the reason I say that is because people shared some moments here where they saw some connective tissue. A tell is that Jane always makes the grammatical error of never enclosing periods and commas and quotes. She does this often. And this is her speech. He claims that he doesn't take a shit without monetizing it. Quotes, comma. And so his motivation is clearly financial, period. You can say a lot of people do this, yes, but this post from her dad does read like her writing style. And you see how in free speech, he leaves the period outside the quotation marks. So the audience that's looking into this, the hundreds and thousands of people that are watching every single move, every single T crossed, I dotted, and quoted, every single person's watching this, and there are connective tissues to look at. So we shared that, that right there. Here are several emails I've gotten from Jane. Quite frankly, I've hit my limit as to how much I can take from him without escalating this to litigation. This is sent to my lawyer. By all accounts, I've been too patient, as my choice not to take it to the next level has allowed him to create 50-plus videos about me and talk about me for hours daily. He has endlessly discussed his conspiracy theories about Chase J. Jones and made daily allegations that it is me. I immediately denied it, and as you know, I didn't fight the subpoenas from Patreon or Google. She didn't fight what subpoenas? She never got subpoenas from Patreon or Google. Chase J. Jones did. Now, I'm not saying she's messed up here by accidentally speaking as if she was Chase J. Jones, but we sent subpoenas to Patreon and Google, not her. Now, she could also just be closely following everything I say, including what I'm saying in my private membership. We do know she still exists in my private membership community, which she's allowed to do. Thank you again for your donation. But of course, I would rather her not be a part of that community. She said his attempts to damage my reputation in that instance alone are grounds for defamation. Again, she would have to prove loss of income, which we've done nothing to encourage people to not support her. We've never said her name or showed her face. We are just asking a question. Is a conspiracy theory defamation? I don't believe so, and I would be glad if she wanted to take that to court. I would be glad to fight my thoughts on that. So, several different people have gotten together and looked at all of the Chase J. Jones information. If Chase J. Jones is operating as if Jane Doe is operating as Chase J. Jones, a second-year journalism African-American student at university, here the connections would be, right? Again, we don't know if this is true. These are just thoughts that we have yet to solve. Chase J. Jones persona, it's a domain setup and Medium account. The Bachelor Boy domain name with GoDaddy was set up through a proxy to hide the identity. So Chase J. Jones has two emails, a Gmail one and a GoDaddy one. It's set up through a proxy registered in Arizona. So Bachelor Boy is registered in Arizona. The same day of the domain creation, Chase J. Jones created the Medium account, which is also the same day they emailed Dave Neal with a press release about Clayton dancing to a rap song, including a video link to the dance. Email with trackers. Jane Doe embedded 10 mail trackers in one single email sent from her Gmail. We know this. She's told me, Dave, I know you're reading my emails because she has trackers. So whenever I open an email, she thinks I'm reading her emails when in fact I might be emailing it to my lawyer, looking through. Of course she's trying to sue me. Of course I'm reading her emails. It's that same sort of obsessiveness we see with Clayton and these past guys where she needs to know that they're still there. And you might say, well, Dave, you should just ignore her. Well, okay, but it's my job to see this through. It is my job to see this through as one of the only journalists covering this story, right? Chase J. Jones embedded a mail tracker in an email from a Gmail, not the Bachelor Boy domain email. Chase J. Jones has sent from two email accounts, domain and Gmail. The mail tracker used in Chase J. Jones was unique to that user ID, likely to hide identity. Mail trackers may be integrated into her Google, but not the domain. Metadata. Metadata pulled from Jane Doe video email attachments, the one she posted on Dropbox publicly, of her fake ultrasound. She then claims were sort of hacked. They weren't hers, but she, of course, sent that to Reality Steve and others, and it was included in her Dropbox. We have all of that evidence. Shows a video email attachment. It's the same device type as the video pulled from Chase J. Jones' email. Mac operating software 13.5.1 22G90, which is not the current updated OS. And you might say, well, that's not super rare. Like all of these things could happen, but stacking them all on top of each other makes it more and more rare. IP address. So if Chase J. Jones goes to Howard University, they probably live on the East Coast, maybe, who knows, right? Who knows where they live? But the IP address is registered in San Francisco, likely tied to an existing device's, Jane Doe's IP address is registered in San Francisco. Chase J. Jones' IP shows Paris, France, likely because of a VPN. Chase J. Jones and Jane Doe use similar phrases and words. Did Jane Doe use her credit card to sign up Chase Jones to Dave Neal's Patreon? So all a judge would have to do is see all this and say, we're just trying to find out who this person is. And again, more emails from Jane Doe for me to quit the charade. Mr. Neal's relentless assertion of my identity as Chase J. Jones lacks any substantiation. This false narrative repeatedly broadcasted on the show has inflicted significant harm to my reputation without any basis. I don't believe so. I don't believe anything we're doing is affecting her reputation. I think she has done that just fine, as she has written Medium articles using her own name, sharing hysterical diatribes about how I'm bullying this person whose name and face I've never seen or said. So here's the other update. Here are the other connections between Chase Jones and Jane Doe. Posted to Reddit with a link. This is Jane Doe, posted to Reddit with a link to her first Medium blog, posted to Reddit to a link to her second Medium blog, repeated use of Medium site. Then Chase J. Jones posts about Clayton dancing to a rap song on Medium, October 12th, or whatever the date was. Jane Doe posted a sonogram ultrasound in her Dropbox and a second belly video in her Dropbox, again publicly. Dave asked for help with Photoshop on Facebook to the ultrasound belly video of October 11th. The Flock found the YouTube video she used on October 11th. It was removed October 12th in the morning. Jane Doe tells Dave Neal on October 12th that wasn't her sonogram. We already covered all of that. That just proves the fraud that existed in one way or another with the manipulation, whether it was by her or by some crazy ex who snuck into her account or whatever, right? Figure that one out for yourself. So here's the other connective tissue. Jane Doe uses the word demonstrably in a cease and desist to Dave Neal. Chase J. Jones uses the word demonstrably on Medium. We already showed you that, right? Chase J. Jones sends Jane Doe sends a DM accusing a Reddit user of being Greg, uses shush, SHH. Chase J. Jones uses the phrase shush, SHH in bio. Chase J. Jones joined YouTube October 11th. Chase J. Jones sends a message press release to Dave Neal October 12th. Chase J. Jones joins Dave Neal's Patreon October 19th. Chase J. Jones only posts about Clayton Echard dancing to a rap song. Those are all the things we know. We also know, as has been found out, that the email that Chase J. Jones uses is registered in Tempe. The domain was registered in Tempe, which is essentially within miles of where the plaintiff who's suing me lives, right? They live in Arizona, right? I think that's safe to say they live in Arizona, right? So I share that because there isn't a smoking gun that connects Chase J. Jones to Jane Doe, but to say that there isn't enough evidence to wonder who the hell these people are, I think is ridiculous. The final thing that we got from Chase J. Jones is their address. Where do they exist? Wouldn't it be nice to find out that the address was in Tempe? Oh my gosh, we can link it all together. Nope. The address for Chase J. Jones goes to a city address in Seattle, Washington. But when you look into the address used in Seattle, Washington, it was used by mailwire.com or another virtual mailbox, which basically means you can sign up for a virtual mailbox, which will say you live there. People will open your mail, scan it, and email it to you. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could subpoena to get the billing records of Chase J. Jones here? Now that they know how to do a quash online, maybe they'll have fun with it. So all of these things in this long story come back to just wondering who Chase J. Jones is. They're willing to do multiple quashes to not reveal their identity, which makes us all the more interested. All they needed to do privately was Zoom call my lawyer, and we would have squashed the quash. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do feel compelled to donate to the legal funds, which we really need because we are really cemented in on this case. We expect she's suing us for defamation and so much more. It could be years. It could be years, folks. Let's just end this all right now with more donations, if you have it in your funds, to get the legal help to just finish this right now. Let's finish this right now, not drag it out. Find out who Chase J. Jones is. See what happens with these babies on February 14th. I'll have my court date February 8th in Los Angeles. And link in the comment section below if you want to join that GoFundMe. Have a good day, everybody. Got more content for you on The Dave Neal Show. If you want to go check out my interview, you can also listen to it on Bachelor Rush Hour. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk to you later.